Hey, everybody, it's Mike, and welcome back to the How Did It Happen podcast. This is a solo episode that I'm doing today. It was inspired by this book, What's in It for Them. The book is by Joe Polish. So there are a couple of neat things in this book. I think the neatest thing about this book is just Joe Polish himself. Now, I have met Joe a couple of times, but I don't know him at all. He doesn't know me at all. Meeting sort of like shake hands. I ran into him in the bathroom one time at an event, but I don't know him. I've listened to Joe a lot, and I've listened to his podcast. I did read his book. I've heard him on many other podcasts, but I don't know him. But here's what I know about him, and here's what impressed me, or what impresses me about Joe. Well, first of all, Joe is a recovering addict. So he has had drug addictions from when he was younger. He started very young, and he tells the whole story. You can read about it in this book, and he's got a movie called Genius. What's it called? The Joe Polish Story. The Joe Polish Story. Well, it's the Joe Polish story. But what impresses me about Joe is that what he has overcome. I guess so many of us overcome so many things, but Joe's really overcome a couple of things. And I think they're important for leaders and entrepreneurs. First, he was abused as a kid. That led him to drugs and alcohol, and he was addicted for some time. School was a challenge for him as a result of that. And he's become not only an author, but he's also like a marketing, I guess, genius. And he runs an organization or a program called Genius Network, which is about marketing. And it's also about a lot of other things. I've never been to it, but he's done really well. He's a super connector of people. He's got a fabulous network, and he is really committed his whole life to making connections with people that can help them. And of course, that end up helping him as well. But the thing that really impresses me about Joe is that he started as his career really as a carpet cleaner. And not only did he start as a carpet cleaner, but he started as a carpet cleaner who had no money and didn't know how to clean carpets. And he, parlayed that start, and it was a very difficult start. It wasn't easy. And coming from I relate to that because I started a waste business when I was 26, and I didn't really know much about running. I didn't know anything about running a business. And so I relate to Joe's story about becoming a carpet cleaner. Really strikes me about him is not that he became a carpet cleaner, but he recognized as a carpet cleaner that he didn't know all the stuff they didn't know. And he went out and he met people and asked them for help, asked them to teach him, basically mentor him. And over time, he became, not only a successful carpet cleaner, but he also figured out how to market to grow his business. And then he sort of took all of that knowledge and became a resource to all the carpet cleaners for marketing. And then he became what is essentially I guess some people call him a marketing genius, and maybe he is. But the reason I'm talking to you about Joe is because I wanted to not only share why he impresses me, but also 4 things that I got from his book. Now, his book is about 9 genius networking principles to get what you want by helping others get what they want. And I'm not going to go through all 9 of them because you can do that on your own. But there were 4 things that I took away from reading this book. The first one was this mantra that he has is to be the person someone always answers the phone for. Be the person that someone always answers the phone for. And I think I've heard him say that before, but it really made me think, when somebody calls and you look and you see who it is, are you excited about answering that call? Or are you frustrated about answering that call? Or are you indifferent about answering that call? How do you feel about when you see someone's name come up on your phone, whether you're going to answer that call or not? And it made me think, that's a really good thing to strive for, to be the type of person that everyone wants to answer the phone for. And why do people want to answer the phone for you, right? Because they like you, because they trust you, because they want to help you, because you've helped them. There are all kinds of reasons, but it just made me think that sharing that would be valuable to you, because if you think about you think about just picking up your phone and seeing your name on it. Do I want to answer that call? And if the answer is no, why not? And if the answer is yes, then how do you do more of that? So be the person that people always want to answer the phone for. Second one was treat others the way that they want to be treated. I see that the axiom is sort of like treat others the way you want to be treated. And Joe takes it a step further, treat others the way they want to be treated. It's much harder than treating people the way you want to be treated, because you already know how you want to be treated. And that does not mean you know how they want to be treated. So when you turn it to treat others the way they want to be treated, it basically makes you do some work to discover who that person is, what makes them tick, what you can do to actually be meaningful and important to them, and how you can adapt to them in order for you to have the best relationship possible or be the most valuable that you can to the other person. So treat others the way that they want to be treated rather than the way you want to be treated. Number 3 is give value on the spot. And this is something that Joe talks about in the book, and I believe in 100%. If someone is asking me for something, whether that's by email, in person, on a phone call, on a Zoom call, whatever, and I can do that thing for that person. Well, first of all, I want to do that thing for that person. I can do that thing for that person in just a couple of minutes without much effort. I am going to do that right now. I am going to try to help that person right now, whether that's sending a text, whether that is sharing a contact, whether that is making a call for that person, whether it's stopping and helping them for the couple of minutes that they need me, or whether it's just making sure that I make a note. If I can't do it right away, that I make a note right away so that I don't forget. So what I took away from that is, and what I want to share with you is, if you can do something for someone very quickly, and do it right now. And then the fourth thing is, don't expect reciprocation. So Joe tells some great stories in this book about how he has worked with and helped people with no expectation of reciprocation. And then put it this way, it almost always comes back to benefit him at some point in his life, because when you help someone without the expectation of reciprocation, it doesn't feel like a transaction. It doesn't feel like quid pro quo. It doesn't feel like you're trying to get something from someone. But what it does do is it leaves something very indelible with the person that you are helping, where they feel like they have a responsibility or a commitment to you at some point in the future to return it. It's not something you plant in them. That person plants it themselves. And I can tell you that that's how I feel all the time. Somebody does something for me without asking, or with refusing to accept something in return. And I bank that. I put that up in my memory, and I feel like that creates not a commitment, not an obligation, but a sense of wanting to return the value to person. And unfortunately, it's not always, you're going to help people and you're not going to get something in return for helping that person. And you know what? That's okay, because that's not the reason you're supposed to be helping that person in the first place. So if you come at it, no expectation of reciprocation, no expectation of creating an obligation for someone, no expectation that you're going to get something in return, helping people is, then like a very liberating thing, because you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. And I want to leave you with 2 other Joe-isms that I think are really fun. One is he approaches relationships with people and business relationships one of 2 ways. The first one is ELF, E-L-F, he calls it. That's easy, lucrative, and fun. Those are the types of opportunities, business opportunities, and personal relationship opportunities that Joe is looking to maximize. And then the other is called HALF, H-A-L-F. That is hard, annoying, frustrating, and lame. And those are the types of relationships, business, personal, whatever, that he is trying to avoid, or that he goes out of his way to avoid. So ELF, easy, lucrative, and fun, and HALF, hard, annoying, frustrating. If you're interested in finding out more about Joe, buy his book, check it out. I'm not endorsing him or this, except that inspired me to do this podcast. And I think you will definitely get value from checking Joe Polish out. So you can look him, you can find him anywhere. His program is called Genius Network. As I mentioned, he's got the Joe Polish Story, which is a book about him. joesfreebooks.com is a place where you can get I don't know if you can get this book there, but you can get some of the things that he has published and put out in the world. And maybe you'll find some value in it. And fun fact, he recently, with a couple of friends, bought a ghost town in Cleator, Arizona. I believe it's Cleator, Arizona. Might be fun to check that out because Joe also has a really good sense of humor, and they're going to revitalize this town somehow. So stay tuned for that. I do thank you for joining me on the podcast and investing your time in me. I hope that the investment was worthwhile for you today and that you got a little bit of value from this episode. And if you did, please share the episode, follow the podcast. If you're not following the podcast, reach out to me and give me some feedback if you'd like. You can go to my website, which is my name, MikeMalatesta.com. And until next time, maximize your greatness and make your future your property, something that you are very proud to own. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. And before you go, I just have 3 requests for you. 1, if you like what I'm doing, please consider subscribing or following the podcast on whatever podcast platform you prefer. If you're really into it, leave me a review, write something nice about me, give me 5 stars or whatever you feel is most appropriate. Number 2, I've got a book. It's called Ownershift: How Getting Selfish Got Me Unstuck. It's an Amazon bestseller. And I'd love for you to read it or listen to it on Audible or wherever else, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can get it everywhere. If you're looking for inspiration that will help you unlock your greatness and potential, order or download it today so that you can have your very own copy. And if you get it, please let me know what you think. Number 3, my newsletter. I do a newsletter every Thursday, and I talk about things that are interesting to me or I give more information about the podcast and the podcast guests that I've had and the experiences that I've had with them. You can sign up for the podcast today at my website, which is my name, MikeMalatesta.com. You do that right now, put in your email address, and you'll get the very next issue. The newsletter is short, thoughtful, and designed to inspire, activate, and maximize the greatness in you.